Hello everybody, welcome to TraderMerlin for your weekend edition show. Happy Friday everybody. Given the wonderful moves in crypto this week, my portfolio did very well. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go with a nice kind of regal looking whiskey. We've got Hill Rock today as the whiskey of choice, and the reason I chose it, it's a Solera aged bourbon, and of course one of my newest acquisitions to my crypto portfolio is Solano, so they kind of have a similar sound. Sounded good. Anyway, cheers everybody. Hope you had a great trading week out there. We got a lot to talk about on today's show, and actually, normally I like to recap what's happened over the course of the week, which we'll of course do that. But something absolutely major and unbelievably critical, which could potentially make or break the entire crypto space in the United States, is happening this weekend. I know it sounds a little crazy to think something could be that intense, but there is something major happening tomorrow, and I will let you guys know about that as we progress. And that's kind of why I have this graphic up here, because I feel like it's this kind of off to the races moment, so I put a couple of cryptocurrencies up here like Ethereum, Cardano, Bitcoin, Binance, EOS, and maybe even Uniswap, things like that. Should be some fun discussion. Of course, as always, feel free to type in your comments and questions. Don't really have anything overly scheduled for today. I didn't even get a chance to put up the earnings calendar and economic calendar for Monday, but I will do that one a little bit later on. So again, cheers. Let me get a nice sip of this Hill Rock, and let's get rocking. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, gonna be a good day. And a good night and a great weekend. All right. So let me start off with just kind of a market recap. Kind of some really big moves out there in the commodity space. I don't know if you guys are commodity traders, but gold was certainly a major mover out there today. We saw the dollar have a pretty big spike, and then gold plummeted. Got me out of my long position on gold. Actually took a loss on that one, which I'm not happy about. But here is your chart of gold to start things off. On the day, down 2.51%. As you can see, it's been an ugly week. I mean, it really has not been a good week for gold at all. I kind of thought we'd hold that 1800 mark, and my stop loss was just below that one. So as soon as we hit it, dump my options and, lick my wounds, move on to another one. I may actually end up buying some call options once we get down to that 1748 level, which, as you guys can see, it's been there for a while. We've had that line on our screen for some time, so I will have to wait and see if we get there. But not a great week. I don't have the exact numbers that were down in the week, but you missed the Dogecoin. Oh, Alex, Doge is not on my radar. I mean, I guess it's increased a little bit in popularity, but I wouldn't put it in. It's not even in my portfolio anymore. I did it just as a goof to capitalize on the Elon Musk pump on Saturday Night Live. Other than that, not a fan of Dogecoin, but we can talk about that one if you like. All right, next, crude oil. Crude oil is actually doing pretty much what we thought it would do, right? I mentioned earlier in the week that I was bearish on crude oil. I think the challenge will be at 66.80 for CL. Right now, you're at 67.80, so you got about another $1 for this bad boy to drop before it comes into an area that I'm even remotely considered in buying back into crude oil. I think, again, a lot of this is going to be driven by kind of macroeconomic pieces. You're looking at a lot of OPEC news. You're looking at a lot of COVID fears. You're looking at a lot of summer travel. So all of these kind of wild cards are still up in the air, and we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out, but I'm still somewhat bearish on crude oil, and it had a very ugly week, one of the worst performers out there. Now we can move up the ladder. Nasdaq finally having a down day. Actually had a pretty stellar week if you look at the overall gains. 0.49% slide on Friday, but let's look at the weekly. I'll try to do this at the same time. I know it's a little tricky to do live, but gain-wise, from where we closed last week, you're only up 0.92% on the NQ. All in all, that's pretty darn good. Let's see, S&P 500 actually finished positive on the day. We are at the very upper end of that yellow box that we drew the other day, and we are currently up 0.93% on the S&P. So all in all, a very good week. We technically broke above this box, but I'll talk about that here in just a second. Now, let's go one further, go to the Russell 2000. Here is the RTY. No big deal here on the daily because it just, it was up 0.53%, but it's really just sitting in the middle of that range again. So let me modify my drawing tools here and give us our weekly report. Up 1.03. So out of the three major market indexes, Russell 2000 leading the way and your best performer. Now, here's the story. Bitcoin having a very good week. I will show you the weekly gains here from where we closed theoretically a week ago to where right now. 7.26% for the week. And I think there's a bigger story here, which of course is part of the talk track. And let me bring this back to a daily so we can see what that looks like. And now let's go into kind of the major news, at least with the cryptocurrency space. So, what did I miss in the chat? Should be a good conversation today. Cryptos are creeping back. Yeah, they're ripping back, but be very, 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 very careful what's going to happen here over the weekend. So, yes, we had hard forks. We had hard forks, actually successful implementation of a hard fork on Cardano, which most people are probably focusing on the Ethereum hard fork, which happened Thursday. They transitioned over to what's called London, and it included something called EIP 1559. What EIP 1559 did is it completely changed the dynamics of the number of Ethereum in circulation. So one of the arguments that we make against, or I've made against Ethereum is it had unlimited supply. Given the mining rewards, right? The mining rewards that were issued by Ethereum, there was an unlimited supply. It would go up in perpetuity, right? Bitcoin, we know, has a ceiling of 21 million. Now, right now, there's like 18.8 million in circulation. So there still is a little bit being created, but it will subsequently stop at 21 million. Ethereum did not have that ceiling before. Now, what they've done, and I'm not gonna dive too deep into it. I don't want to geek everybody out, but what they've done is immediately flip the tables on the structure of Ethereum. And I personally think, like Brendan does here, he says Ethereum equals moon. I do think you're going to see some significant upsides in Ethereum over the next couple of years. And the reason is this. We could talk about the ecosystem. We could talk about smart contracts. We could talk about Vitalik or what he's doing for the community, or NFTs, and which are predominantly on the Ethereum blockchain. We could talk about DeFi, which is predominantly on the Ethereum blockchain. But that is all just, to me, adoption. That says people are using this ecosystem. Great. I love it for that. But what always bothered me was unlimited coins. EIP, which stands for Ethereum Improvement Point, or I don't know. It's basically a way to say that they're fixing things. Holy cow, Jay Best with $20 today? Brother, thank you so much. I owe you a glass of whiskey somewhere. Thank you so much, man. That's very, very nice. Let's see what he say. When we look at Coinbase Pro and see the order flow, the red versus green, I understand that the order book, what exactly is it telling us, and how can we use it to trade? You got it, Jay. I will definitely get to that on today's show. Thank you so much for that contribution. Cheers to you, sir. So let me get to that after I kind of keep going through the Ethereum and why this is so critical. EIP effectively says we're now going to, we're creating a kind of a place where transactions go, because right now the gas fees on Ethereum are ridiculous. It's unbelievable how much you pay to make a transaction on Ethereum. If you do a Uniswap or something like that, it's too much. So it went into an automated process now, which has dropped the fees significantly, but that's not the important part. What's important is, out of those fees that are charged for transactions on Ethereum, Ethereum is burning a percentage of those. Now, I don't have the exact percentage here, but what I mean by burning is they're literally taking those Ethereum and throwing them away. So it's deflationary in nature. Now, the question is, given the rate of production and creation of Ethereum, right, how many are produced every single block that's made, versus how many are destroyed, at a certain point, if fees get really high and the network becomes very utilized, what's going to happen? We now have a deflationary currency. Ethereum could potentially be the one that every day there is less and less Ethereum in circulation because of the burning. And I'll show you right now. Let me bring this up here. Here is where you can see it. You can go to watchtheburn.com, as you can see right now, and it's only been in effect since Thursday night. They've already burned 6,565 Ethereum in, let's call it 24-hour-ish. Well, in case you're wondering, let me just type in here what exactly that amount is. Right now, we're looking at Ethereum was all over the place, but I think I'll just say 2,800. So 2,800 times that by the number that they burned, 6,565 Ethereum. They've already burned $18.38 million worth of Ethereum. And remember, every time they burn, or we see the amount burned versus created is greater, you're going to see supply literally disappear from Ethereum. This is the ultimate supply and demand flip, right? as of Wednesday, they had unlimited supply. Now all of a sudden that table is turned, and to me this is a huge move because it creates a deflationary cryptocurrency, which now puts it into the running to be a much higher price. And Batista says, so this will increase value. I can't use words like will and be definitive. Should it increase value? Hell yes, it should. If we get to that point that the emission flips, so let's say, I don't even know off the top of my head. Let's see. Does it say on here? Okay, so you guys notice right here on the screen, you see this last block that was solved. There was 2 Ethereum created. So what that basically means is like I believe the block time is still 15 seconds. So it seems kind of weird the way that these transaction times are coming. It looks to be about 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. It looks like, at least the way this is going, which seems way too fast for me. I was under the impression the block time was 13 to 15 seconds. It looks like, yeah, actually it is looks to be about, let's call it 10 seconds, okay? 2 Ethereum created every 10 seconds. But of those 2 Ethereum, how many were burned? You guys notice over here? This one didn't burn much, 0.0019. But the one before it, over a half of an Ethereum is burned. This is a good example. I'm going to highlight this line. Oh, damn, it's moving fast. Blocks are being created like crazy. Look at this one right here. 2 Ethereum were created in this block, but 1.19 of those were burned. 1.19 of those Ethereum were burned, which basically means that, yes, Ethereum was created in that block, but just a tiny little bit. And at some point, that shift will be there's more burned than are created on Ethereum in the blocks it is. So very interesting to me. The huge change here in the supply and demand equation. That again was a hard fork, which happened on Thursday. Now let's see what else do I have here. If you have followed it, yes, Mike. That's actually the next big topic here. I am very concerned about that. Let's see, what do we got here? Bitcoin ecosystem are the backbone of crypto ecosystems. Yes, I totally agree with that. I think that right now Ethereum is making great strides. I have actually been very big on, I know, Brendan, you don't like Cardano. I like Cardano because of they're not rushing anything to market. They're building behind the scenes and testing it and testing and testing and testing. I am a fan of Cardano, and now they have smart contracts and are able to do over 3,000 transactions per second, where Ethereum can't even come close to that. So, a little bit of a change in the way that that technologies are coming to market. But bottom line is they're both in my portfolio, and I'm big on ETH. Walter says, so if it's being burned, who's taking the loss and losing their Ethereum? Great question. It should come out of the rewards for the fees. So let's see. There's on here, it should show you the fees. So my assumption is that the fee, it's all coming out of the fees. It's not, you're still creating 2 Ethereum per block that's solved, but out of the fees that are paid, you can see here, they do it in something called GWEI, G-W-E-I, which I'm not totally clear on how that all works or what it means in Ethereum, but it's based off of that. So there's a percentage of the fees, and I'm pretty sure that the part that's burned is coming out of the fees. So as long as those fees are higher than the 2 Ethereum per block, then the better. Let's see, what else do we have here? Brendan's got a little Cardano. Cardano's still, yeah, I've actually been, nobody uses Cardano. Not true. It's just not mainstream. And because they didn't have smart contracts. Okay, so this is the second part of this weekend edition off to the races kind of look here. If we look at what Cardano just did, Cardano basically just started off with smart contract deployment, right? They now are allowing smart contracts, which is something that Ethereum has already been doing. This just kind of puts them in the running here. They haven't done it because they're test. They want to make sure everything's robust and stable. I actually like Charles Hodgkinson. You can follow him on YouTube. He puts out a video every day, and he's very transparent about what they're doing, how they're doing it, when they're doing it. I kind of like that. It moves a little slower, I think, but to me, it's a little bit, I don't know. I like the transparency and safety of it. Again, I hold multiple smart contract type deployment cryptocurrencies. Now, their talk track is they can do 300 transactions per second, whereas Ethereum can only do 15 right now. That's a massive difference. You're talking a 20x increase by using Cardano over Ethereum. Now, we know Ethereum is going to change. Right now, the rewards, well, we talk about rewards, different story. What else do I have here? Yeah, good. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but Cardano Cardano just basically opened up the doors to smart contracts, new levels of it, and they're bringing on board businesses and vendors. Remember, we may not see it being used, but it's being used. I mean, Cardano has a deal with the Ethiopian government to help track education of kids in Ethiopia. It's kind of weird what the technology is for, but they're using that technology, and it's on the Ethereum blockchain, which I think is very interesting. Okay, what else I want to go to? Man, I got so many different things to talk about. So you have Ethereum with their hard fork, London hard fork going into effect on Thursday. That was with EIP 1559, which is something that to me is groundbreaking for Ethereum. You also have Cardano going forward with its hard fork and implementing some new technology which allows smart contracts. These are two very big changes. Then it goes to what Walter was talking about. Walter brought up a question basically talking about the initiative for infrastructure bill. Now, I did I'm going to do a Monday morning must-knows on this one, talking about it, and I forget the names. It's, there are three individuals, but I forget the name. Anyway, the infrastructure bill to me, and since I can't say this on Monday morning must-knows, I can say it here, there is so much crap that's being put in there that to me doesn't directly do with infrastructure. It's crazy all the weird shit that they're putting in the infrastructure bill, and they do it under this guise of America. We have to do this or our country will suffer. And Americans go, yes, do it. Give us some relief. Give us some money. Pump the economy. And they can sneak in so much crap. You just scratch your head and go, are you kidding me? What? Yes, Kevin says, I believe Alonzo is in phase blue. I think it went to purple today. So purple is like the next level. But yes, it's very, very close to moving forward. The next one will be in September, in the beginning of September. I think September 10th, he said. Which, again, I love the transparency. Brandon says, which one is the widely used decentralized application, or what is one widely used decentralized application? Remember, they don't have it because they're not smart contract yet. They're just opening that door to smart contracts. So they will be. Never rule anything out, right? You have to look at it as Ethereum's had this huge head start, a massive lead. But could any of these, so let's say, could Polkadot, could Cardano, could EOS, Neo, could these companies come up and take a bite out of that and potentially surpass Ethereum? Would that be a tall order? Tall order, but I definitely think it could happen. And that's why I actually have all those I just mentioned in my portfolio, because I don't know. You know, Ethereum, think of Ethereum maybe like Kodak, right? And I know it's a horrible analogy. Kodak had the absolute head start. They were dominant in the digital film space. But they just dropped the ball, and now Kodak is, to me, just a dead company, right? What do? They were going to be a COVID vaccine company. They dropped the ball, but everyone saw them as the lead dog. Ethereum, I don't think, will suffer that same fate. Way too good of a community, way too good of a product, and right now, way too much dependency on their Ethereum blockchain because so many products are there. Kev brings up another one, right? The Solana, right? Solana, also one I added to my portfolio specifically for that reason. I think that they might be one that rises to the top here. Who knows? But I want to have access. I want to spread my portfolio around so that I'm not too heavy in one or two. Granted, my number 2 holding is Ethereum. My number 1 holding is Bitcoin at this moment in time. Okay, so this infrastructure bill requires me to take a sip of whiskey. It's actually part of the infrastructure bill. I think every time I say the word infrastructure bill, I need to take a sip. So I could be drunk by the time we finish this. Just kidding, I won't say it that many times. Anyway, $1.2 trillion is what this infrastructure bill is including. What that means is they got to come up with a way to get that money. So what they propose was a tax. Yeah, I agree, Simon. And I'm going to quote you on that one. He says, the infrastructure bill is shady as hell. This has happened time and time again in my lifetime, and I'm pretty sure it happened in my parents' lifetime and my great-grandparents' lifetime, which is the government, whatever country, my great-grandparents, German, Italian, same thing over there. You create fear, and then you do something with that fear that allows you to advance your own well-being. So these politicians are doing things on the underside here, under this guise of we must have this relief package. We have to have a massive amount of spending to get the economy on track and save America. Which, yeah. Hey, you know what? Let's do it. I'm okay with that. Spend on America. I love that. It's what we're spending on. Wouldn't it be nice if all of us had a decentralized blockchain app and I can log in and it says, okay, Merlin, out of $1.3 trillion, so let me bring up my calculator here. Bear with me. I'm going to go, it's 1.2 trillion, so let's clear this. And I'm going to do the 1.2 trillion. I'm going to do it. I'll even share the screen so you guys can see it. $1.2 trillion, right? We go right to there. That's 1.2 trillion. And let's say that there is currently 330 million Americans in the United States. So there's 330 million. That means that I now can only spend $3.60. No, I did billion. So it'd be $3,600. That means that I have $3,600 to spend. Wouldn't it be great if we could go to a decentralized application and I could look at my balance and say, you know what, I want to send that money here. Oh, I'm going to give mine to, the German Shepherd Rescue of Orange County. There's my $3,600 and maybe some rows. It would be nice if we could vote where it went and it went directly to those sources as opposed to this crazy bill, infrastructure bill that's who knows what the hell they're doing with their money. Anyway, soapbox rant is over. Big Eb, cheers. Thank you, sir. Love the contribution. I'm glad I've been a great crypto mentor to you. I love it, and I'm hoping that I hopefully have made at least people that were haters of it look at it in a different light. I'm not saying you have to adopt it or accept it. Just understand it is the most important thing. I think that keeps everybody in life safe. Understand something that you don't understand or that you dislike. Learn about it, and you probably won't dislike it anymore. Okay. So, what happened on this bill was they were sneaking through something that basically said, we want to tax cryptocurrency brokers. What they didn't do is really come up with a clear definition of what a broker was. So in the eye of this bill, as is right now, a cryptocurrency broker is really anybody who has a cryptocurrency client or is doing anything with cryptocurrency. For example, a miner, a cryptocurrency miner who doesn't have clients, right? A cryptocurrency miner doesn't know anything about clients. They're simply in the back end making sure that transactions are validated. Did you have that money in your account? You want to send it here? Do you have the private key? Cool, done. That doesn't make them a broker. It's just they're security agents, if you will. Under their current bill, tax all miners. Also, wallets, anything to do with cryptocurrency was being taxed. So I forgot the name of it. And again, I actually called up my senator, or my representatives today and said, hey, I am totally in support of you guys passing this amendment to it. And what this amendment does, and they're voting on it supposedly tomorrow night, is this amendment says, here's the definition of a broker. Has nothing to do with wallets, has nothing to do with decentralized exchanges, has nothing to do with miners. A broker is somebody who is a centralized entity like Coinbase, like Kraken, that is facilitating trades for customers and allows them to go back and forth into their fiat currency, US dollars. And I'm saying that sounds right? It's just clarifying, because let's be honest, on Capitol Hill, there's some people there that I just go, how the hell did you get there? How did you make it? You seem so stupid. And it's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It's just saying, I don't know how they got there. So a lot of them on the aisle don't understand cryptocurrency. So it's easy to lump it all in at once. So keep your fingers crossed that this bill passes, or this amendment passes this weekend. If it does not pass, and it goes through as is, it could be a major negative side in the world of cryptocurrency. Now, if you look at what's happened over the past 24 hours in crypto, it looks like you are seeing the passing of this bill already, or this amendment already. Why? Because Bitcoin just spiked this morning. I mean, it's been a beautiful run. All cryptos have been doing great the last 24 hours because I believe the assumption is this amendment will pass. If it passes, great. And my argument is this, guys, and you might have difference of opinions. I'm okay with some regulation. I'm okay. I just don't want the heavy hand of government shutting it down altogether. You're thwarting innovation. You want to make sure we innovate. That's I think what Americans are so good at. We innovate. We make things better. We make our whole world better, whether it's banking systems or technology. You try to constantly improve. So fingers crossed, guys, that this passes this weekend. If that amendment does not go through, we could be in a world of hurt here going forward in the crypto space. But I think it'll pass. It was just kind of interesting to see that news today. Anyway, so you got Ethereum, you've got Cardano with hard forks. Ethereum really is the big news in the crypto space. It's taking things up leaps and bounds and could be very good for them going forward. And then this vote happening this weekend. Whew, that was a lot of information packed in a very short period of time. Already 25 minutes in. So Jeff sent in a comment, which I may actually turn into a show down the road. Big Eb says regulation equals legitimacy. Yes, I love it, and you're 100% right. The only thing there's an asterisk which says how much regulation, right? If they tax Coinbase and they tax Kraken, because those are centralized exchanges, fine. But going after miners and wallet, I mean, that's just stupid. That is really dumb. So I love the fact that it's gone through. And what I really like is that the 3 people who are penning this amendment, I believe, one is a Democrat, 2 are Republicans. So it's nice to see them actually working together and get along and hopefully come to some agreement and say, look, this is bipartisan. This is not Democrat or Republican. This is about what is right and not stifling innovation with regulatory pressure, which would be what would be happening if they did not pass this thing. When exactly is this happening? I watched an interview with her, and it was supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen Saturday, so tomorrow is when this vote is supposed to happen. She already says, "Yeah, we're pretty sure we're going to win," but you know what? I never accept that until I see the final votes go through. Don't trust it. I didn't see any recent news, Tony, on the SEC versus Ripple. What I learned from the process with OTA and the FTC is these people, they try to drag their feet out as long as possible. Governments don't want to go to court because most likely if the SEC goes to court with Ripple, they will lose. Just like, in my opinion, if the SEC went to court or the FTC went to court with Online Trading Academy, they were going to lose. There was a mountain of evidence, but they tried to delay everything to kill you by the time you can get to court, right? So that's what the settlement was for. It was basically saying, okay, well, we don't want to go to court, we'll just settle. Great, fine, let's get out of here and be done with it and move on. Same thing with Ripple. Don't expect this to be something that's settled in a few months. This is not a hasty case. It will go slower and slower and slower. I was really dumbfounded by how slow the process was and really what the FTC did to drag their feet. So I haven't heard any real news on that front either. Bonnie says government is 100% fear-mongering. I'll go 99%. Let's just say there's 1% of hope, because if we don't have hope, what do we have? The government are experimenting on new... I'm not going to go with that one. Come on. Do you know what Grayscale and other institutions are doing about the crypto legislation? At this point, nothing. Right? They're not going to do anything at this point. They're still going to be going through trying to get all those products released, right? There's a lot of crypto products that Grayscale is trying to do, and I'm all for it, right? I hope Grayscale can bring those to market. Let's see. Random question. Why do institutional investors dismiss technical analysis as snake oil? It's a good question. It's been an argument that's been going on as long as I've been in financial markets, which is fundamentals versus technicals. And institutions, I believe, throw that around because a goal of an institution is to make sure that they manage your money. So they're going to do whatever they can to say, you can't do this on your own, Alan. You better have our advice. You can't do it on your own. You better use our customer service, our support, our research, our analysis, all that stuff, and do your trades through us. Don't do it on your own. Technical analysis, it doesn't work, right? To me, that's what they do, right? They're bad-mouthing it because the more that people use technical analysis, I don't think it's the holy grail. It's not you're going to look at a price chart and say 100% guaranteed this is where price goes. But I can at least understand what's going on with the part of buyers, sellers, trends. I can use indicators if I choose to and make educated opinions that, in my belief, give you a higher probability of success than failure if you follow the rules. So I think that's the main reason. If you talk to people that are into fundamental analysis, remember their objectives are different. A fundamental analysis person is not thinking about what's going to happen next week. They don't care. It's what's going to happen. Like Larry talking about NVIDIA or the trade desk or his, what was the other one he was talking about? Shopify, right? He was very bullish on those. Well, main reason is all fundamentals. It really wasn't much about technicals at all. Then you get people like myself who I believe that you can lie on fundamentals. I believe you can cook the books, and if anybody says no, then just let's talk about Enron and WorldCom, and then you tell me that they can't cook books. You can lie on those things, but the price charts ultimately will tell you the truth. And for most of my stuff, I'm not in it long enough for the fundamentals to make an impact on my trade, maybe earnings announcements. So I think that's the main reason why you see people slandering technical analysis, is because they don't want you to be making those trades. They want you to use them, especially institutions. So they don't. I don't believe that they actually believe. I don't believe that institutions actually believe that technical analysis is voodoo and smoke and mirrors. Well, they're using charts too, man. They're using charts on the back end. That's how they do a lot of their analysis. Let's see. What else do I got? Kev Stamplow says Chainlink is primed for a big run up. Chainlink is another one. And again, when we look at the spectrum of products, remember, Chainlink isn't just a cryptocurrency. It's an oracle. An oracle, guys, are companies that in smart contracts, when you write a smart contract, so let's say, for example, I bet Lisa here, so she's got creative accounting. I'll say, yes, we call that creative accounting. So again, I've used this analogy before with you, but let's say I owe Lisa and I make a bet, $100, and I say, Lisa, the 49ers are going to have a better record than whatever football team you follow this year. She says, no, I disagree. My team's going to be better. So we put in $100, we deposit in an account, whatever cryptocurrency, and then that's in a smart contract. That smart contract now owns $200. It owns Lisa's $100, it owns my $100. And it has to pull that data from somewhere, right? Where is it going to find out the record of our teams at the end of the year? That's called an oracle. The oracle is where it pulls the data from. And Chainlink is one of the predominant oracles in the crypto space. So I'm a fan of Chainlink. There's a couple of others, but right now Chainlink seems to be the main player out there. So yes, I think right now you're looking at a moment where I think a lot of cryptos are going to have a pretty big run up here. Yowza says, coin ready to go up. I don't think so. Let's look at a price chart of Coinbase. I think that's what you're asking me here, Yoza, is Coinbase. So here's Coinbase. If you look at the price chart of Coinbase, right, the heavy red line there was their OPI, their IPO price. And it's really just been, it's been dead for 4 months. Hasn't done squat. It's recently rallied a little bit, but I don't know. I don't see it really having a huge move up. Certainly the most recent activity on increasing volume and breaking some highs looks good. But to really melt up, remember, any regulatory issue is going to impact Coinbase because they're the broker. They're the ones that these politicians are talking about in the infrastructure bill. Damn it, I said it again. This whiskey's going quick today, folks. I'm going to have to end the show early. Just kidding. So there will be some impact on Coinbase because of this. So I'm not huge on it. I'm really excited about Kraken coming out next year with their IPO. I'd be a little bit more excited about that one. But, would it hurt to put some money on it? Well, probably not. I think you'll be okay. Coinbase, I don't think, is going anywhere. I don't think they're going to shut it down because they're already getting earnings, taxing the earnings of Coinbase, etc. But the price chart just doesn't look that great right now. Let's see. Someone says, I was meaning to take a screenshot the other day, Ramsey's Instagram. Someone asked if he trading could be a viable career. 100% of people go broke from trading. God, it blows my mind that this guy, he's held in such high regard. My girlfriend was posting something the other day, and she showed me something, and it says, nobody should be using credit cards. You shouldn't use credit cards. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot. What you should do is make sure that you can manage your finances and pay your bills. If you are debt free, I told you guys this, I use my credit cards for every single purchase I make. If I buy a pack of gum from the gas station, I'm paying with the credit card because I get 1.5% back in Bitcoin. Or if I use my United card, I'm getting mileage points. If I use my American Airlines, I'm getting mileage points. I pay my balances 100% in full every month without question. It's automatic. So I'll never carry a balance, and for 30 days I'm using free money. That is good financial advice. Ramsey, don't use credit cards. You're an idiot. 100% of traders fail. You are you know what? Let's do it. Why not? Let's just go throw it out here. We haven't done one of these in a while. And I want to just let him be the donkey today. You're a jackass, Dave Ramsey. Please be on the show. Come on, let's talk about traders all being losers, or that you should never use credit cards. What a clown, an idiot. Now, if someone is in debt and has a lot of debt, should they be using credit cards? No, probably not. Because if you're already in debt and you got debt problems, a credit card's not going to help you unless you use them properly, which is I might open up a new credit card, which can get me a balance transfer at zero, so I can pay down my 29% credit card with zero credit or zero interest for 12 to 15 months. That's called smart. That's called finance. It just blows my mind how this guy can be this heralded expert out there. What is your crypto credit card? I have the BlockFi Bitcoin credit card, but I have others that I use for different purposes. Batista, you are absolutely right, my friend. Credit card companies hate me. I am the worst nightmare of a credit card company because I haven't paid a penny in fees for probably 25 years. And I I'll probably do, I don't know, $6,000 a month in charges on credit cards because I'm paying for as much as I can. If I could pay mortgages on my credit card, I would do it. And I can, but they'll charge me like 3%. It's just not worth it. But yeah, anything I can do and to pay, that to me, use it, right? Use free. If someone's going to give you money for free for a month, pay whatever you want and then just pay it all off in full every month with money you've been saving and maybe making 0.1% in your checking account, or maybe I'm making 12% by staking Cardano or Polkadot or something like that. I make 2% on all my charges, no cost. Great, awesome. Good thing Merlin doesn't have a good following, otherwise Dave might. Did he? He sued Meet Kevin? He really sued Meet Kevin? He can sue me. You can't sue me for me calling him an idiot. That's a personal opinion, right? I mean, hell, I'll probably call one of you guys an idiot every now and again. I mean it in a loving way. With Dave Ramsey, I know he has a good intention. I know he has good heart and he wants to help with people's finances, but to make a blanket statement like you should never use credit cards or all 100% of traders lose money, that's false. That's false, 100% false. I'll suppose that people need to invest in mutual funds, never wow. Yeah, so who's paying? Who's paying? If he really did say that, you should invest in mutual funds and never ETFs, then clearly he's being paid by somebody else, because that is one of the easiest things in the world to understand is mutual funds are going to rape you with fees. ETFs are like 1/10 the fees, and they're more liquid. I can get in and out whenever I want. That's a stupid comment, man. That's it. Bring up Dave Ramsey. Let's go. Bring him on the show. Like Gary says, never say never. I agree. Never say never until the bell rings. Kenny, bring him on, buddy. Well, I try not to do anything that gets me any legal trouble. Lisa, you don't know Dave Ramsey? He's like one of the most popular finance guys out. He's like a Susie Orman. He's the male version of Susie Orman. And I'm willing to bet you that if you talk to Susie Orman, she'd say, well, credit cards are good and bad. If you don't have discipline, don't have risk management, credit cards are awful. They will put you into the worst financial position you could ever be in. But I think most people here are pretty financially responsible. You understand that your income needs to exceed your expenses or you're going to be going negative on your net worth increase, right? Yes, Kenny, I'm using that. I'm doing the quotes. He's a quote-unquote financial guru. Yeah, well, as we saw with the love guru, wasn't that with Austin Powers? Gurus can be fake too. All right, let me go. Jeff, this is a tough one, and I thought about doing a show on this altogether, and it's this. He says, my question is, since there are over 1,100 or 11,000 cryptocurrencies out there, how in the world do you do the research to make a sound decision when buying? I'm going to do a real quick one here, and it's this. I'll probably do it next week. I'll do a specific show on it, but I'm going to kind of do it in a nutshell right now, which is if I want to look at a specific market sector. So let's say not even crypto space. I'm going to use equities as an example. But let's say I wanted to use energy, right? I'm going to use energy companies, which energy has been beaten up lately. It's kind of stabilized, but it's been pretty rough. If I wanted to look through the energy sector and say, well, which one's the best? I'm going to type in the one I think is the biggest. So I'll type in XOM, right? ExxonMobil, hit enter. Then on a lot of platforms, you can go and see the competitors. And it'll put the top competitors up there. So you just go and look and see who is the best competition out there. And then if I wanted to, I could be doing fundamentals or technical analysis across that subset of whatever market segment I was looking at. So if I was looking for, let's say, identity tokens, and which one's the leader in identity tokens? Well, I would probably type in Civic because they're number one. But then I would also bring up competitors, and you could see who's in that space. And I'd start to analyze them. And there's different things I'd have to look at. I have to look at the management team. I have to look at the development team. How big is the community? All these things help me understand which product might be the best. But again, you never know 100%, right? Sometimes I might buy into something that ends up fizzling away. I've done a few of those, right? I've had a few cryptocurrencies that just did nothing but go down. I dumped them, moved on, right? I don't want to hold those things all the way to zero. What else do I got here? David Portnoy, there's another crazy guy. Yeah, Gary says, and I agree. I think if I was to put it in a nutshell, I think you're right. Dave Ramsey is predominantly for somebody who is so debt laden they cannot get out, and that person shouldn't be using credit cards. But if I was giving financial advice, so let's say you guys are all like heavily laden in debt and you just don't know what to do. You're driving yourself crazy. I would say, look, use credit cards. Just set rules for yourself. So if you had a $20,000 balance and it's on a 29% per year interest rate credit card, open up a new card that has 0 balance transfers. Transfer that 29 or as much as you can over to that new card. Max it out. Your credit score will actually start to go up because you're utilizing more credit and you're paying down one of the balances. Then do your best to pay off whatever you can. Put every penny towards that 29% card to get it to 0. And then focus on the one that's 0% interest for 12 or 15 months. I mean, that's simple. Anyway, drive me crazy. Let's see. Excuse me. All right, let me go on further. So, Jeff, I do want to go way deeper into this how we research stuff, but I might do a whole show on that one. Tomasina, who I haven't seen you in here recently, sent in this question. Tomasina says, today on the news I heard 2 experts talk about a term called TINA, which stands for there is no alternative. Is this a typical term used in the industry? No, it's not. It's not used in the industry. And it's kind of like TAFE, TAAFE, right? That's a common phrase. TAAFE stands for there's an acronym for almost everything. I think I made it up as I went along. But, yeah, it's not a common one. These guys probably just made... I haven't heard it very much. I haven't heard that one very often. So, no, not a very common one in my space. And let's see. I'm looking at time here. I'm going to run out of time. So, I will probably do this one as well. And Brendan says gold equals TINA. Okay, there is no alternative? Sure, why not? Why not? Thank you for the blessing. And let's see, last one here. And again, I think that this, given the time, I may have to do a full show on this. And I think I will go deeper into a full show on this because I want to show you examples. But Greg says, would you consider backtesting as a topic? I'll give you my quick take on backtesting and then we'll wrap up for the day. I think backtesting is a good habit to just look and see how certain strategies may have performed. So for example, let's say we're doing a moving average crossover system where you're saying, well, you know, when the 20 and the 50 period moving averages cross, that's my buy and sell signal. The 20 crosses above the 50, that's a buy. 20 crosses below the 50, that's a sell. Okay, easy. It's nice to go back and apply that and look at a chart just to see how these things would have performed. I mean, the first thing you'll notice right away is that they're very lagging. You'll look and go, wow, it told me to buy here, but boy, I could have bought $100 cheaper. They're very lagging. My big challenge with backtesting is that what happened in the past may not happen going forward. We're in a very interesting period of time right now. I feel that the high-speed momentum of the equity indexes has slowed down a little bit. We're seeing a little bit more indecision and hesitation. So if you're using a trending system, it'll still work for the Nasdaq and the S&P, but the Russell, you're literally throwing money out the window if you use a trending moving average crossover system. So I don't know. I don't like. It's kind of like saying, how different would my life be if instead of me taking this class back in 1998, I just put all my energy into being a DJ? Well, it didn't happen. I am where I am. So I don't really put too much emphasis on backtesting because I believe markets are always evolving. They're always changing. They're in a constant state of flux. And I'm kind of excited because this market has been so bullish for so long, and there are so many so-called experts that have popped up on the scene. I've made fun of it in the show before. I see 14-year-old kids who have like 20 million followers and they've been trading for like a week. It's like, really? I've been trading for 26 years and I've got like 3,000 followers. And I do a live show every day on markets that's open and transparent. And this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just buying meme stocks. Bravo, little kitty. You're making more money than me. Not from trading, but from your meme stocks, from your followers on some social media platform. I don't know. It drives me nuts. And I'm waiting for the shakeout. I'm waiting for that moment that this thing rolls over and transitions. And Brendan knows I've been talking about it a long time. At some point, we're going to go back into a big downward trend and a big bear market. All right. I got to do one more thing here because I did get a very nice contribution earlier from Jay Bess. I hope you're still with us, Jay. Let me bring this one up here. I was going to wrap up, and I almost forgot. I didn't want to do that. Let me go to pro.coinbase. Pro.coinbase. Hopefully I don't have to log in. Fingers crossed. Don't make me log in, guys. Come on. I don't want to log in. And I think we are in. As it loads up here. Excellent. I'm in. All right. So just so you guys see what Jay Bess is asking, he says, when I look at Coinbase Pro and I see the order flow, the red versus the green, I understand that's the order flow book. But what exactly is it telling us about how we can use it to trade? Okay. So what he's talking about is, and let me see if I can zoom in here a little bit. No, it just screwed everything up if I do that. what I'm highlighting here is there's really 5 main components of this window, right? You guys can see on the left-hand side, that's where it has kind of the execution where you can place your buy and sell orders. Directly to the right of that, there's a vertical book, which it's basically posting all of the buy and sell orders. At the very top up here, let me zoom out so it makes it much clearer. Close out. Man, this thing's moving so fast. So these are in 10-point chunks. And you can see at the very top of the screen, it says 42,750. And as we get lower, you can see the price is dropping. It gets down towards competitive price. Right now, the most competitive price is 42,620. These are all sellers lining up with limit orders saying, I'd like to sell at this price. Right now, the most important one is down at the bottom of this red. That's the best price you can buy it at right now. In the green, you're looking at the buyers. And same thing, 42,600 is the best buy price right now on this bad boy. And down at the bottom, you see somebody wants to buy it at 42,460. Well, they're not going to get it. That's $140 less than current market. Not going to happen. Now, if I zoom in here, it'll start moving a lot faster because that was in $10 chunks. Here's in 1 penny chunks. All right, so you can see right now the spread is 1 cent on Bitcoin. It's incredible, guys, to have a $42,000 item with a 1 penny spread. I'm telling you, you can pull up something like Google. It's got way more than a penny spread. Amazon, way more than a penny spread. This just tells you about competition. Now it's $4. You can see it's moving real quick. So this is that order book that Jay's talking about. What can we tell about it? Not much from this. They also have a depth chart, which is this one here. And I like this because this basically takes the information that we just talked about and make it much more visual. And what you're looking at in green, these are all buy orders. So you can see where it has big jumps up in price. Like right here, right where my cursor's at, there's a big jump up. That means that there's a huge block of sellers right there. Somebody is trying to sell, looks like 50 Bitcoins right here. That's a backstop. So if price starts to fall, these big vertical lines may represent demand and may represent a point where I might think about buying. On the red side, these are all sellers in the equation. And you can see this big jump right here. I mean, it's a big pop up. That goes from 33 to 60. So that's 30 Bitcoins for sale right here. Not that price can't get through that, but at least you can get an idea as to where these buyers and sellers are lining up in the marketplace. And that's that market depth component, right? Saying, I like to see maybe where I could maybe line up demand and supply on this price chart. So Jay, are you still with us? I hope you're still with us, my friend. I didn't mean to delay so long in your question. I actually forgot because I go in depth. Plus, I've been talking about the infrastructure bill. Cheers. Tell you what, this Hill Rock is pretty damn good. Barrel number 93 apparently, delicious. Anyway, Jay, does that help you? Does that kind of clarify? Really, it's not something you should put your emphasis on, saying I'm going to lean on this. But if I find a good demand zone or a good supply zone that I feel is good with cryptocurrency, is there a point where I can say this is an odds enhancer? I can look at this mountain chart. I call it a mountain chart. It's called a depth chart. Could I use this? So let's say I looked at the price chart and I found that there was a great demand zone at 42,370. And I look and I can see that there in fact is also a pretty big buy order on Coinbase. Now remember, this is just Coinbase. Oh, bummer, I think I lost Jay. I'm sorry, Jay. I should have got to it earlier. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that is clear. This is just a resource, and I think it's nice because you notice there's two big chunks back to back. There's 50 Bitcoins right here, and I know it's 50 because it goes from 65 Bitcoins all the way up to 120. So there's like 60 Bitcoins sitting right here. Same thing. Let's see. The window is helpful for limit buying. Correct. Yep. And I'm with Big Gab. You guys are funny. I don't either. I don't really sell my crypto either, but if you were looking to buy, Big Ab, if you're looking to buy, and you look out here and you said, oh, you know what? I found on the price chart a good demand zone, and then you saw all of a sudden a bunch of buyers here, this would just further support your decision to make that purchase. So, cool. All right, what time we got? Holy cow, time is flying. And it's getting really hot in my office. I did not take the time today to go out and to pull up all the economic calendars. I'm sorry. I should have. Obviously, today is Friday, so there was a very light day out there. With regards to economic announcements, there actually was some pretty good stuff. Today, you had the unemployment rate, which was kind of weird. We had the ADP non-farm employment change spike, actually crash. There was a lack of jobs created, but the unemployment rate went from 5.9 They were expecting to be 5.7. We came out at 5.4. So that's a pretty good improvement on the unemployment rate. Non-farm employment change came out just slightly better than expected. So, all in all, decent data out there. Now, what's happening for next week? On the macro picture, there's not a lot of major stuff happening until later in the week. Wednesday and Thursday, we have CPI numbers and PPI numbers, which are massive. But for Monday, really nothing to speak of. You've got JOLTS job openings. That's pretty much it. Now, the earnings side of things. Earnings, really, it starts to go downhill. Now, there's over 900 companies reporting earnings next week, some of which might be of interest to you, but most of them probably not. Some of the major names next week, let me see if I can bring it up here real quick just so I can run through them. The Trade Desk, TTD, which I think is of interest because Larry that's been in his portfolio. He added that one in a couple years ago. You got things like Planet Fitness, New Age. Those are two of the three of the major ones. Other than that, not a lot on the earnings front for next week. So there you go. I did manage to catch you up to speed. Diamond Hands. Ugh. Oh, Kenny says, how are the new bikes? Dude, I apologize, I have to curse, it's the whiskey. It was an absolute shit show getting these things yesterday. So I drove up to El Monte, California, and I'll try to keep the long story short here. But the location they told me to pick them up at, there was no building there. I was like, dude, I'm supposed to pick up these bikes, there's no bikes here. It ended up being on the other side of the street in this crazy warehouse that's like 5 times the size of any Costco I've ever seen. I mean, we're talking 80-foot ceilings and racks that go 60 feet tall. It was crazy how much stuff. It was like the Raiders of the Lost Ark warehouse. It went on as far as I could see. So ended up picking them up. And I bought them from China, right? So I'm always expecting these bikes, anything you buy from China, I'm expecting to be kind of low quality. Yeah, whatever. These things are nice. Like, they are actually great bikes. I am very happy. As a matter of fact, as soon as I'm done with this show, I'm taking my dog to the vet to get an allergy shot, and then come back, and I'm going to dial these bikes in, and I'm going to ride these sons of guns all weekend long. Walter says, I got a quick question about building credit real quick. I hear that you shouldn't go over 30% on your limit and also 50%. Yes, 100%. You're totally right. From your experience, what do you recommend staying under 30? I recommend staying under 25. I've heard 30, but I actually... 25, I would say stay under. So what that means is, let's say you've got 2 credit cards and there's $10,000 limit each, right? If you have one card maxed out at $10,000, that really, really hurts your score. And let's say the other one is empty, well then try to move $5,000 over to the other so you have both at $5,000. Now, personally, if you're using 50% of your available credit, I think you're doing yourself, you're hurting yourself. You shouldn't be that maxed out on your credit cards. So you should do whatever you can to, maybe if you have that situation I just mentioned where you had one credit card maxed at 10, another that's 10 and empty, move 5,000 over so now you have both or half full. I would also recommend open up a new card that has a 0% balance transfer fee. Maybe that one is now $10,000. So now you have $30,000 of available credit. So you went from $20,000 available using 10, that's 50%, that kills you. Now you have 30% using 10. Spread it around, so now you're under that 30% threshold, and your credit score will rise right away. Should do whatever you can to get those credit cards down to 0. Honestly, your goal shouldn't be to become the best trader in the world right now. If you have maxed out credit, your goal should be to pay all that down first. Use that as your carrot and say, hey, once I pay that off, now I can go become more active trader or do what I want to do. But God, get rid of that credit. These companies, Visa, MasterCard, they thrive off of just absolutely taking advantage of people. 29% APR on some of these credit cards is usurious. It should be illegal. But unfortunately, our politicians got lobbied by the credit card agencies, and they shot down credit card reform, which would have changed all of this. Again, go big government. I love the power of politicians. No, Alan, these are electric bikes. They are 750 watts. They do about 25 to 28 miles an hour. They're scary, fast. I bought foldable ones because I like to travel, and I can hopefully throw multiple bikes in my truck and take off and enjoy. Can you buy extra batteries for the bikes? Yeah. I think it's a fairly standard battery pack, but they're fun. If you guys haven't ridden the electric bikes, wear a helmet. Be very careful with those things. They can be extremely dangerous. But I'm out here in Southern California, right near the beach, so it's going to be a great weekend. Anyway, hope you guys have a great weekend. I will try to do more on those topics that were suggested, so I might show you some back testing. I know on some platforms like TradeStation, you can actually implement full-blown strategies. You can also, we'll also talk about maybe some scanning and filtering and kind of how you evaluate different projects out there, whether it's crypto or whether it's equities, things like that. Brent says, 16,000 at 5.3. at least you're at 5.3, brother. That's not too bad, right? 5.3 is a pretty good rate, but you know darn well you should be doing whatever you can to get that down to 0. I know, Brendan, you're telling me that I'm going to put it all in crypto and I'll get more than a 5.3% rate of return. Yeah, but there is a certain joy and freedom and accomplishment knowing I have 0 debt, not a cent of debt, it's other than mortgages, right? No car loans. I don't have any credit card debt. There's a joy to that, and I think that should be something we all strive for. It's nice to know that I'll never pay those guys a penny. Yes, Alan, I will wear a helmet. I was riding back. My buddy has some high power ones. I was doing 30 miles an hour on the main streets by the beach. I'm like, man, these things are so dangerous. Anyway, thank you, Rob. Pounded me 10 pounds. Thank you, my friend. Well, hopefully when I get over to England, we can go out and have a pint somewhere. It's been a long time since I've been across the pond. So anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you all for the contributions. There were quite a few today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Big Eb. I always appreciate your guys' input and participation on the shows. Also, thank you to NJ from FC from New Jersey. And of course, J-Best Entertainment, who unfortunately I think he left early and didn't get a chance for me to answer his question that he wanted me to answer. So Jay, we'll have to I'll cut that piece out and send it over to you. Yes, amen to no debt. Make that your goal. No mortgage is joy. I'm not there yet. I look at having a mortgage that's about 2%, 2.7% interest. I'm okay with that. Like that to me is free money because I can take money and make more than 2% on it. I can literally buy a stable coin and make 10% on it. So that's free money to me. But anyway, yep. Vitruvia is the name of the bike. I ordered it from China. They took 4 months to get here. It's a long haul, but if you guys want, maybe I'll who knows, maybe I should just buy a big batch of them for everybody. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. As you can see, I'm sweating in my office. It's really hot. I'm going to go finish this glass. So, I'm not even going to say it because I'll just say infrastructure bill one last time so I can have a farewell sip. Again, thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic week. I will see you all on Monday. Take care, everyone.